sort of training. By the time we Rosemond Boohene, Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast. I was born in Accra, Newtown, and I'm the third of 6 girls. And growing up in a family house, I remember we lived with my grandmother, my aunties, my uncles. So you can see that it was a very big family. Everything under the sun, I remember my grandmother was selling. And because we were living in the house together, we used to sell. And the house was by a roadside, so we all go and sit by the roadside and sell. And because of those sort of training, by the time we grew up, we were entrepreneurial because we learned from our grandmother that you can always take advantage of any opportunity that comes your way. And because we were trained to be assertive, to be hard work, by the time I got to Form 5, I was selected as a senior prefect girls for that institution where I served diligently. From there, I also had the opportunity to attend Winneba Secondary School for my sixth form. There too, like I indicated, the training we had, I worked very hard. And I remember when I wrote my A levels, to the glory of God, those times to get 4 Bs was very difficult, but by the grace of God, I was able to get 4 Bs. And that gave me the opportunity to come to the University of Cape Coast from 1989 to 1993. And when I completed, I was selected as a teaching assistant. So I served as a teaching assistant for 1 year as a national service person. And after 1 year, I taught briefly at Holy Child School, and I had opportunity to go and do my master's in New Zealand. When I came back, I had opportunity to be appointed in 1997 as a principal research assistant with the School of Business. I was working. By the grace of God, my results came, and in 1999, I went through the interview process and I was appointed as an assistant lecturer. After 1 year, I was upgraded to a lecturer. And from 2000 to 2003, I taught at the business school, teaching various programs, teaching various courses, supporting DASI in some of their courses. And by the grace of God, in 2003, I had the opportunity to go and do my PhD in Australia. When I came back in 2007, I was promoted to the position of a senior lecturer. And that is when, in 2008, I was appointed as the head of department for management studies. So I did that for 2 terms, so that's 4 years. And within that period, I also had the opportunity to be appointed as the vice dean, also for 2 years at the business school. So it was during this time that we worked with the dean then. I worked with Professor Boohene, I worked with Professor Mafo, I worked with Professor Aboagyewa, all in a quest to make the business school what it is, because we all know that previously it was a department and it was made a school in 2004. Then from there, I had the opportunity from 2012 to be appointed as the director. First, it was a director, Center for International Education. Then it was also changed to Dean, Center for International Education. And there, I also embarked on a number of collaborations with the vice chancellors. Then, that's Professor Kupoli and Professor Dafiafia. I worked with the two of them. And we embarked on expanding our partnership, collaboration, making sure that we have a lot of staff and student exchanges, internationalizing our curriculum. And by the end of the day, we're able to get quite a number of scholarships, especially Chinese scholarships for some of our faculty and for some of our students. And then after that, I had the opportunity to go for sabbatical at the Aboagyewa University of Applied Sciences as a visiting professor. After that, I had the opportunity to be appointed by the university as a pro-vice chancellor, and we've done quite a number of collaborative activities, not only with international partners but also with local organizations, local institutions, supporting the vice chancellor in his entrepreneurial university strategy, establishing the D Hub, and trying to get industry to support the university in some of the activities that we are embarking on. My father taught us that in life, there's the need for you to set a goal for yourself and you work very hard towards the achievement of that goal. Whilst you are working to achieve that goal, there will be obstacles, and that is part of life. And therefore, when I had the opportunity to lecture at UCC, I set various goals for myself. And by the grace of God, God also gave me a husband who was also a goal getter. So together we all worked very hard. And that is how come I've been able to get this far. Uh, it's been a good experience for me. And I always tell people that the University of Cape Coast has done a lot for me. That is where I train. This is where I got my husband. This is where I also train my children. And this is where I've been getting my daily bread because it has employed me. And I know that when I go on pension, this is where I'll also be getting my pension. So I'm grateful to what the University of Cape Coast has also done to me. But of course, the first person I'm grateful to is God. And I'm also grateful to all my colleagues, friends, vice chancellor, registrar, provost, all the people I've worked with. And as for my husband, if I want to say the things is that he will not leave me. And everybody knows that he's my mentor, my role model, my best friend, my confidant, my supporter. If life gives you lemon, turn them into lemonade. And that is exactly what I did. And I didn't do that alone. I've done that with the support of family, with the support of friends, with the support of partners, with the support of collaborators. And at this time or at this point, I'm inviting you to join me during my inaugural lecture as we interrogate issues in the area of entrepreneurship and small enterprise development. Because looking at the situation and the prevalence of graduate unemployment, we believe that there is a need for us to train our young ones to be entrepreneurial because there are a lot of opportunities around us and we'll be able to help them to take advantage of those opportunities. So I'm inviting you once again to my inaugural lecture. Thank you for your attention.
Congratulations, Professor Rosemond on the occasion of your inaugural lecture. I met Professor Boohene, then Rosemond Apejima, in an official meeting at Aboagyewa in 1989 when she was in the first year and I was in the third year. And actually, what attracted me to her that evening was her smile. She really gave me a very beautiful smile. And the truth of the matter is that all through the meeting, whatever was discussed, we didn't listen. It was all talking and asking questions about each other and things like that. And after that, we all left into our separate spaces and then met again in 1996 and became husband and wife. Professor Rose from Boohene is actually a good friend. She is a good friend. And that friendship that began when she was in first year has continued up till now. And she is also my consultant and a wife and mother to my children. As a friend, we often share a lot of great ideas. We discuss things that would always enhance whatever we want to do. She told me, Kwame, I want to get to the topmost space in academia. I want to I want to be a full professor. She said it. That was way back in 1996. And I encouraged her because I also wanted to be a practical entrepreneur. And so I told her, for me, I'll do business and I want to do business. And she also supported me with a lot of ideas. And so that friendship has continued all over the years. And as a wife, she's also played a very major role, and she has a very busy schedule. She travels a lot when she was working at the international office and all that. But she makes sure her duty as a wife is performed to the best of her ability. She's been so wonderful taking care of children, guiding children, and directing children. And as a practical entrepreneur, I've also gained a lot from her ideas as an entrepreneur, professional entrepreneur. You know, if I want to farm, she'll give an idea. There were times in 1999, 2000, when I wanted to invest in a project at Tvucc. She told me that project would fail. And truly, it failed. And she gave reasons for that. And I respected her entrepreneurial advice from that point onwards. Because, men will not listen to some of the things that we are told until we go and hit the snag. And she really was very, very wonderful. Rosemond, I want to say that I truly appreciate all that you've done as a friend, as a wife, a consultant. We have worked on many projects, yes, converts. We have worked on the Tvucc and many others. And it was all because of that friendship ideas that we share, back and forth and things like that. So, congratulations, and I wish you all the best. I know you've not gotten to the top yet. There are still spaces out there that you can still get to. I mean, heights that you can still attain. There are greater heights that you will be able to attain. And I know very soon, by God's grace, all that is on your heart to achieve, you will get it. Thank you and congratulations.
My name is Justice KG Aboagyewa. I am the head of Institutional Affiliation Office, University of Cape Coast. I met Professor Boohene in 2006 when I was at level 300 of my Become program. She was my lecturer in entrepreneurship. She was so good in the program, and she introduced us, particularly myself, to entrepreneurship concept, which has actually guided my working life. Once again, in 2010, I met her and she was assigned to me as my principal supervisor when I was doing my MBA. Then in 2020, I also met her when I was doing my PhD as my principal supervisor. And since then, we have been together as a family. The supervisor to me, as an elder sister to me, and as a friend. I am so grateful to you, Prof, for all what you've done to me. You are part of the reason where I am in terms of my academic qualification. I thank you for all your time that you have invested in my studies and in my certification. I thank you for all what you have done. God bless you. Congratulations on this occasion.
Greetings from Alba University Office of Outreach Global. On behalf of Alba University, I would like to congratulate Professor Rosemond Boohene on her inaugural lecture. Your relationship with Alba University has had profound impact on faculty, administrators, students, and staff at both UCC and Alba University. Through your leadership, Alba University fully funded your former lecturer to earn his PhD here at Alba University. You also brought some of your administrators, faculty, students, and staff to Alba University for service learning programs and conferences. Your leadership brought about several reciprocal exchanges between Alba University and UCC. We are proud of all you've accomplished, and as your sister and as a friend, I can't wait to see the next thing that you do with your new career path. Congratulations from Alba University and War Eagle. Thank you.
My name is Mohammed Osman. I am the secretary for Oforukrom Dagomba Lions Club Dealers Association Kumasi. I am one of the beneficiaries of Electronic Waste Management Projects, Ghana, through Professor Rosemond Boohene. In fact, I have benefited a lot from Electronic Waste Management Projects in several aspects in my business, such as record keeping. It enabled me to calculate my gains. Also, health-wise, through the trainings organized by Professor Rosemond Boohene, I am able to identify the materials that contain toxic substances and that affects human life, and how to handle them properly and do the dismantling. In fact, it helped me a lot in my business, being able to identify those materials and how to handle them. I used to visit hospitals and clinics every week, but because of the benefit that I've gotten from Imagine project trainings, I am now safe. I don't know when I visited hospital again. And also through the effort of Professor Rosemond Boohene, we are able to form the Oforukrom Dagomba Lions Club Dealers Association. And in fact, it helped us a lot. We're individual workers, but there are interventions that we are able to form the association, and it's helped us a lot. It helped us promote our business. In fact, Imagine have done a lot for us. We cannot thank them enough for their kindness. In fact, we do appreciate what Imagine have done for us. So, on behalf of the entire association of Oforukrom Dagomba Lions Club Dealers, we say kudos to Professor Rosemond Boohene and the entire team of Imagine. In fact, we really appreciate what you have done for us. And we still need your assistance. Thank you so much for your kindness.
Congratulations, Professor Rosemond Boohene, on the occasion of your inaugural lecture. I met Professor Boohene, then Rosemond Aboagyewa, in an Anofi meeting at Aboagyewa in 1989, when she was in the first year, and I was in the third year. And actually, what attracted me to her that evening was her smile. She really gave me a very beautiful smile. And the truth of the matter is that all through the meeting, whatever was discussed, we didn't listen. It was all talking and asking questions about each other and things like that. And after that, we all left into our separate spaces, and then met again in 1996 and became husband and wife. Professor Rosemond Boohene is actually a good friend. She is a good friend, and that friendship that began when she was in first year has continued up till now. And she is also my consultant, and a wife and mother to my children. As a friend, we often share a lot of great ideas. We discuss things that would always enhance whatever we want to do. She told me, Kwame, I want to get to the topmost space in academia. I want to be a full professor, she said it. That was way back in 1996. And I encouraged her because I also wanted to be a practical entrepreneur. And so I told her, for me, I'll do business and I want to do business. And she also supported me with a lot of ideas. And so that friendship has continued all over the years. And as a wife, she's also played a very major role, and she has a very busy schedule. She travels a lot when she was working at the international office and all that. But she makes sure her duty as a wife is performed to the best of her ability. She's been so wonderful taking care of children, guiding children, and directing children. And as a practical entrepreneur, I've also gained a lot from her ideas as an entrepreneur, professional entrepreneur. If I want to farm, she'll give an idea. There were times in 1999, 2000, when I wanted to invest in a project at Tvucc. She told me that project would fail. And truly, it failed. And she gave reasons for that. And I respected her entrepreneurial advice from that point onwards. Because men, we will not listen to some of the things that we are told until we go and hit the snag. And she really was very, very wonderful. Rosemond, I want to say that I truly appreciate all that you've done as a friend, as a wife, a consultant. We have worked on many projects, yes, converts. We have worked on the Tvucc and many others. And it was all because of that friendship, ideas that we share, back and forth and things like that. So, congratulations, and I wish you all the best. I know you've not gotten to the top yet. There are still spaces out there that you can still get to. I mean, heights that you can still attain. There are greater heights that you will be able to attain. And I know very soon, by God's grace, all that Sonia had to achieve, you will get it. Thank you and congratulations.
Great. I'm Daniel Japon with the School of Business at the University of Cape Coast. I met Professor Rosemond Boohene in the year 2000 as my lecturer. She taught me a number of courses back then, and in 2009 our working relationship started, and since then we've worked on a number of projects. The BET Ghana project, the PASS project, the Art for Deaf project, and one of our favorite projects, the German African University Partnership, was also with our counterparts from Kenya and also from Germany. And ever since, she's been a mentor, she's been a teacher, she's been a counselor, she's been an advisor, and she's been everything. And so on the occasion of her inaugural lecture, I just want to say, Prof, thank you so much for everything.
Hello everyone, I'm Professor Ralf Meyer from Bonn-Rhein-Sieg, University of Applied Sciences here in Germany. Today I'm honored to congratulate my colleague and friend, Professor Rosemond Boohene, on her inaugural lecture. I first met Professor Boohene at an international conference here at our university, where her passion for enterprise development and education was immediately clear. Her insightful perspective and inspiring presence were striking. I'm now the director of our international business program, and her acceptance to teach in this program was a proud moment for us. During her time as a visiting professor, she made lasting impact with her courses in HR management and business ethics, instilling ethical values and strategic thinking in our students. A focus on research and knowledge of our enterprise provided valuable insights for me and my colleagues. I also recall a trip to Ghana, where Professor Boohene, serving as a Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, warmly welcomed us and facilitated meaningful exchanges between our institutions, strengthening our ties. Professor Boohene, your dedication, leadership and vision have left a lasting mark. Congratulations on your inaugural lecture. May this be just one of many more achievements to come. Congratulations once again.
So I want to congratulate my mom on reaching this major milestone in her career. For as long as I can remember, this woman has been one of the most hardworking and determined people I know. Like, even when we were kids, she was always busy, always working on something. I actually remember my mom wearing glasses a lot more than she not wearing glasses, because she's always reading something on her PC, always writing something, always marking something and all. And even now, like over 20 years later, you can find her like at 3 a.m. working on something. The only difference is that now we are old enough to like be proofreading her stuff and all. So if there's anybody who deserves it, it's her. And in as much as she keeps reaching these heights, she has never changed. She's still a humble, God-fearing, pure and genuine person who is never looking to take advantage of anyone. And that is one of the things that I really love about her. And I really thank God for bringing her this far. So I want to say congratulations, Mommy. We appreciate you and we are supporting you. God bless you.
Yo, good afternoon. mpabocho me de Felix Amwa dodo na frame Master Kofi nam Professor Rosemond Boohene Professor Rosemond Boohene nadaruma ekokos nyade wo Kumasi Simidu na course ne kono Simidu na aboa me yi pa ama nyame adom a betimi ya nyema nyema mikusua no betimi achieve betimi dia nyema pa betimi dia bome homoden pa aboa me yi se me kasa mo me na me aboa me yi nyame adom no sibu kokompe hona me because of sa course na nam Professor Rosemond Boohene so am I call sa course no. In fact, Aboagyewa na ama metumi afia nyama bebre so metumi afia nyama bebre e fa mechanic no nti so matadi a artisan automobile artisan you the whole Ghana association but yeti every Kumasi Simidu Aboagyewa pa ama metumi ato machines nya de a metumi di adwuma mosudu kokompe hana mewo so I can't come machines in India doing a juma Nissan money nti Aboagyewa nti me bompa say obia ntimi nyasa opportunity na ntimi fa ne ho enhyemu na menim say enema bebre betimi aba nti na me kanfo di ho adanse amam senior course na me ko enetimi aboa me seal the kokompe na me osa o hwamia me number no 0246 413936 0246 413936 but you seal the kokompe e hona me wo Master Kofi na omo friend hana me wo na mo say
eloquent, patient, loving, God-fearing, approachable, mother to all. These are some of the values that characterize Professor Rosemond Boohene. It is really admirable to see someone this dedicated, consistent, and passionate in the pursuit of their career. On this occasion, we gather to celebrate your hard-earned success. I love you, Mommy, and congratulations.
It is my pleasure to congratulate Professor Rosemond Aboagyewa Boohene on her attainment of full professorship of the University of Cape Coast. We have had the good fortune of working with Professor Boohene when I was director of the Science and Technology Policy Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR Stepri. I must say that the crucial benefit we had from Professor Boohene was when she served on our institute's management board from January 2018 to December 2021. And as you very well know, management board, you are expected as a member to contribute to the consideration of the research programs of the institutes and give approval, and then also to from time to time review the progress that the institute is making in implementing the research programs that have been approved. And Professor Boohene's contribution in carrying out these specific assignments have been very commendable. She's been very active. She was very active when she served on the management board. The management board also carried out oversight responsibilities in respect of financial management of the institute. And during that time, we were able to carry out specific projects that we executed just from the accumulation of our internally generated funds, including the completion of a new block for the institute. And so Professor Boohene made very important contributions, and we need to put that on record. Apart from that, there were also the intellectual products that the institutes came out with. There were several research publications, including the publication of a Ghana herbal pharmacopoeia, which was then the second edition. In more recent times, even after completion of serving her term as a board member of CSR Stepri, she had been active in the science, technology, and innovation space. And I can cite specifically the most recent activity she carried out, and that was under the auspices of the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology, and Innovation. The ministry was implementing a program called the National Innovation Challenge. The National Innovation Challenge was meant to identify innovation in all sectors. And the aim of the National Innovation Challenge was to give awards to deserving innovators so they could start up, they could go into entrepreneurship, start up companies, and then operationalize their innovations. Professor Boohene served on the distinguished panel of judges, and they were able to review the pitches of about 100 innovators drawn from all over the country, all the way to the northern regions, across the regions in the south, and of course the middle belt. And out of those 100 innovators, they were able to identify 40 for all kinds of awards that will enable them to get into entrepreneurship with their innovations. This was the latest, and I must say that in all of this, we are showing the specific examples of how Professor Boohene has contributed to the development of science, technology, and innovation in Ghana. I believe that his contribution will not only be in Ghana, but it will also spread across the sub-region of West Africa, Africa, and the world at large. Once again, congratulations, Professor Boohene.
My name is Justice KG Aboagyewa. I am the head of Institutional Affiliation Office, University of Cape Coast. I met Professor Boohene in 2006 when I was at level 300 of my Become program. She was my lecturer in entrepreneurship. She was so good in the program, and she introduced us, particularly myself, to entrepreneurship concept, which has actually guided my working life. Once again, in 2010, I met her and she was assigned to me as my principal supervisor when I was doing my MBA. Then in 2020, I also met her when I was doing my PhD as my principal supervisor. And since then, we have been together as a family. The supervisor to me, as an elder sister to me, and as a friend. I am so grateful to you, Prof, for all what you've done to me. You are part of the reason where I am in terms of my academic qualification. I thank you for all your time that you have invested in my studies and in my certification. I thank you for all what you have done. God bless you. Congratulations on this occasion.
Hello, I'm Isaac Ishen. I had the privilege of working with Professor Rosemond Boohene from August 2013 to 2019. This was during the period when she became the director of the Center for International Education, now known as the Office of International Relations. Professor Boohene provided the platform for me to assume responsibility, which set me up to learn so much and gain experiences that have helped me in my work and as a person. Professor is the living embodiment of humility. She could have a lot going on with her work, but she would always find the time to ask you how you are doing and what is going on with you. And if she needed to offer any form of support or word of advice, she would. She is very welcoming and has an easy aura, which makes her very approachable. She led by example, and her actions inspired myself and my colleagues to always strive to be better people and to do our best to help her achieve her vision for the center. Prof. Boohene has always been a mother first before anything else. She has had such a positive influence on my life that I wouldn't know where I would be today without her. Professor, it is a huge honor to be associated with you, and your achievements make me very proud. You are an inspiration to all of us. So thank you, and congratulations are in order.
Hi, I'm Belinda Bonnie, Professor Rosemond Boohene's teaching assistant for the 2016-2017 academic year. She was more than a mother to me and still is. She's a friend, a big sister, and there's this quality about her that I don't know what to say, but her humility. I love her humility, and that is one of the qualities that I have learned from her, that no matter where you stand in life, humility is key. And I'll say that I've come this far because of her. Thank you, Professor Rosemond Boohene. Thank you for the guidance. Thank you for the mentorship. And thank you for the knowledge shared. You deserve this opportunity. Congratulations.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and it's indeed a pleasure to be called upon to speak a few words of congratulations to my elder sister, mentor, friend, mother, and photographer, and she knows what I'm talking about. Prof. Rosemond, this is your day. You've earned it. You have been remarkable in your career as an academic. You have been remarkable in your family space, and you have reached so many lives. I mean, our friendship goes way back, perhaps decades ago, and I didn't know that at some point in my career, I would take over from my big sister as the Dean of International Relations at the University of Cape Coast. You are an astute scholar. You are warm, affable, and friendly to all. Indeed, this is your special day. It's been long in coming, but it is well deserved, and we celebrate you. Congratulations. I join Uncle Bo and the rest of the family, and Mama says congratulations to you, and we are all happy for this great feat. Continue inspiring all of us. Continue being a blessing that you've always been to all of us. Congratulations, and thank you.
This is the Dagomba line, a suburb of lacked knowledge on how to safely dismantle discarded electronic gadgets like television and computers to retrieve precious metals for sale. It's without any protective gear, exposing themselves to harmful chemicals. The Imagine project has now made a lot of difference. A team of experts trained scrap dealers here on how to safely dismantle the waste electric and electronic gadgets.
Waste match time is a flat back transformer. It's a flat back coil. So you remove the coil gently and then you remove the cable. Then you have your deflection coil. Then you put it aside because it's a copper, as we all know, and that is what we normally want. This is the most toxic thing that we have in television. So you can't just have your hammer and anything and then crush it. Train them how to dismantle them. You need not to crash. But when you crash it, the mercury substance gets to the air and gives the air pollution. Whoever is around is affected, and whoever is passing by too is affected. So we train them not to crash the tube just like that by going in a proper way. After removing what they want, they need to keep the CRT in the safest place for proper management.
Mohammed Osman, not from the Imagine training.
We used to visit hospitals every month, every day, but through their training, we have learned that, this type of dismantling, we are safe. So all the monies that we have been used to waste in going to the hospital are now safe if you are able to practice what we have learned from them in terms of dismantling.
The scrap dealers can retrieve many components for sale because of the safe method of dismantling the gadgets. Beneficiary of the Imagine training say it has made his work easier.
Times we need parts to fix our television. We go to them and buy some of the parts that they take from the component we've sold to them. At first, they take it, they crash it, they break the boards, and when you go, you don't get anything. But now, from the training that they had, they now remove the parts so that we go there and we get it back like a recycle. Some of the televisions, their parts, you won't get it from store. Unless you go to the scrap dealers, that will take it from them. Like television from Australia, their parts, you won't get it from store. Unless you get it from the same television component. And where are you going to get it? It's from the scrap dealers who bought the component from us. That we still go back to them.
Receive training on how to start a business and proper records keeping in the e-waste sector. They were taken through the process of how to acquire permits and register their e-waste collection centers and their various designs.
Available for everybody, from an individual, an SME, or a corporate. So that's the main aim for us getting the Green Fund, to promote the green agenda. For collateral, the equipment that we are financing is the main collateral. So if you are doing a solar panel, the solar panel itself is the collateral. And we assign the business flows to be additional source of security.
The Green Financing Initiative is supported by the SunRev program, a fund set up for renewable projects aimed at reducing waste and emissions.
With CalBank and GCB also in the near future. So if someone wants to access this financing, they can directly go to the bank, make a request for a loan under SUNREF, and it will be connected to us, in which we'll start discussion about the project, exactly what it is, and how can we help them.
The Ghanaian government has also set up a special fund to manage electrical and electronic waste.
We're supposed to use part of the eco levies and other funds that may be vested in the fund to build a recycling plant in Ghana. You know, we don't have that yet. We don't have a big recycling plant. We hope that eventually we will get that, and then we'll be able to recycle all the e-waste in the country instead of some of them dismantling and exporting and all that. E-waste is money now. If you're able to recycle well, you recoup that. We are building capacity for the various stakeholders as well, the recyclers, the dismantlers, the collectors, so that they can also make money out of the e-waste that they deal with. So the fund is set up to fill that void in the country, to manage the e-waste. That's the objective of the fund.
But how will scrap dealers assess the fund?
Between EPA, the ministry, and us, we are setting up the roadmap of how we intend to make it work. We had interactions with some of them here today, you heard. They have some demands. They can approach us. We have open doors. We will liaise with EPA and the ministry and help them as best as we can. If they are registered as per the regulations of EPA and they are in the system, they come up with genuine demands that we can attend to. The fund will definitely be happy to support.
Similar training was carried out in Accra. Designed from e-waste were also on display. The European Union Circular Economy Seminar in Accra brought together entrepreneurs from diverse fields of endeavor, including those in the informal sector. Participants were grouped and taken through several topics, including the role of the private sector in research and innovation. Martinez, the focal point of the European Union Environmental, Climate Change and Circular Economy, says the Imagine project has been very successful.
In several activities and I spoke with scrap dealers, with the Association of Electronics. So I spoke with the beneficiaries, and I know that the project is having impact. So this is the first point that I was able to see the project in the field. So I know that it's having impact. And of course, that another way to know the impact is to receive the indicators from the project. And in fact, all the indicators that the project identified at the beginning to be achieved, they were achieved, and they were in fact more than what was expected, which means that the project is very well implemented, and the impact that is having in the field is huge.
Achieving much success in e-waste management also means training young students on how to effectively dismantle electronic equipment without polluting the environment. Students of Boohene Vocational Training and Rehab Institute tried their hands on a few gadgets after receiving training.
Today I have learned what is called e-waste. I've learned how to dismantle laptops, and I've learned how to gain money in e-waste.
Today I have learned about e-waste management. And we learned about how to dismantle laptops, and to Frank, this is my first time dismantle laptops, and there is components in laptops which is metal and non-metal, and through this laptops dismantle you can sell some of the components to get money.
Other institutions like the Cape Coast Technical University and the Takoradi Technical University received similar training. E-waste management in Ghana project has reactivated 16 associations across the country. The biggest challenge was how to bring the different associations together, and some were even skeptical about the project. The University of Cape Coast has been leading the implementation of the project. Professor Boohene is in charge of the project.
The significant achievement of this project is that we are looking at increase in income. Through the project, people have seen increases in their income or in revenue. Then in addition, we are talking about environment. When they burn or they throw some of these things into our drains, the drains become choked. They inhale the fumes. It doesn't only affect them, it affects us, because when they burn, the harmful substances also seeps into the soil. We plant, we dig boreholes, we get water from the soil. So you can see the ripple effect of some of these activities. But through the project, most of them have stopped burning. They try to dismantle them. We've given some of them simple equipment, so they dismantle them. And those that they don't want, we have even connected some of these micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, because some of the fractions they don't want, that is the raw material of another micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. So they've been communicating among themselves and sharing ideas and supplying raw materials and finished goods to their counterpart association. So these are some of the impact we've seen in relation to the project.
City Waste Recycling Limited is one of the partners of the Imagine project, and this is the demonstration of how the facility effectively recycles cables of electronic devices.
So this is a cable granulator. It uses a vibration system. The material is fed in here. It crashes it, it comes onto this bay looking like this, and then through vibration the pure copper comes here, which you can see from here as pure as this, and then the waste actually goes to the back of the machine, and then there's also a dust chamber for any other dust or any residue that would come out. City Waste was made a partner of the project because we are giving alternative to the burning of the cables. Instead of doing that, they can bring their cables to our facilities and have it granulated for them. We also taught them on the various type of cables, because we have the FE and we have the aluminium, and then we also have the copper look-alike, which when you are not careful, you could mix all together, and then you would not have the purity of the material that you want. So basically, this is an alternative to what is happening to the open burning, that is letting the DOZ out into the atmosphere. And the Imagine project made it specific for the informal sector, and especially the scrap dealers, to always make sure that they segregate these materials and give it to the right people like us and the other people in the sector to recycle instead of burning it. And what we have done as part of the project is to actually pay them value for this material so that they don't waste their time burning it.
difficult, but by the grace of God, I was able to get 4 Bs. And that gave me the opportunity to come to the University of Cape Coast from 1989 to 1993. And when I completed, I was selected as a teaching assistant. So I served as a teaching assistant for 1 year as a national service person. And after 1 year, I taught briefly at Holy Child School, and I had opportunity to go and do my master's in New Zealand. When I came back, I had opportunity to be appointed in 1997 as a principal research assistant with the School of Business. I was working. By the grace of God, my results came, and in 1999, I went through the interview process and I was appointed as an assistant lecturer. After 1 year, I was upgraded to a lecturer. And from 2000 to 2003, I taught at the business school, teaching various programs, teaching various courses, supporting DASI in some of their courses. And by the grace of God, in 2003, I had the opportunity to go and do my PhD in Australia. When I came back in 2007, I was promoted to the position of a senior lecturer. And that is when, in 2008, I was appointed as the head of department for management studies. So I did that for 2 terms, so that's 4 years. And within that period, I also had the opportunity to be appointed as the vice dean.
Good afternoon,
Also
ladies
for
and
2
gentlemen.
years at the business.
Good afternoon.
So it was during this time that we
welcome the
worked
Vice
with
Chancellor's
the dean then. I worked with Professor Bobby Simpson, I worked with Professor Mafo, I worked with Professor Aboagyewa, all in a quest to make the business school what it is. Because we all know that previously it was a department and it was made a school in 2004. Then from there, I had the opportunity from 2012 to be appointed as the director. First, it was the director, Center for International Education. Then it was also changed to Dean, Center for International Education. And there, I also embarked on a number of collaborations with the vice chancellors. Then, that's Professor Kupoli and Professor Dafiapia. I worked with the two of them. Then we embarked on expanding our partnership, collaboration, making sure that we have a lot of staff and student exchanges, internationalizing our curriculum. And
I would invite Reverend Dr. Patrick Kwampa to do us the honors with the opening prayer.
We are praying. We begin with God the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Spirit. Almighty God, we thank you for the leadership, management, staff, students, and all stakeholders of the University of Cape Coast. And as we are gathered here today as a university and as a family to listen to our Professor Mrs. Rosemond Boohene lecture and then achievement, we commit the venue into your hands. We ask for your presence. We commit all functionaries into your hands. We ask that may you function through them. And we ask for grace, excellence, and utterance for her. And those on their way coming, may you bring them here safely. Commit the entire program into your hands. We ask that may you make everything beautiful. We thank you for an answered prayer. This we pray in the name of Christ Jesus, our Lord. Amen.
We'll remain standing as we sing the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly take your seats. Good afternoon once again. I'm pleased to welcome you to this inaugural lecture by Professor Mrs. Rosemond Aboagyewa. She is a professor of enterprise development and currently the Pro-Vice Chancellor of University of Cape Coast. This afternoon, she would be discussing or talking to the topic Entrepreneurship and Enterprise Development in Practice, Tracking the Pathways. My name is Akusiachi Abiasaki. I work with the Directorate of Public Affairs and I'm pleased to be your MC. I have the singular honor of introducing our chairperson, and our chair in 1992 earned a BSc degree and a diploma in education from the University of Cape Coast. In 2001, he earned a BPharm degree from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Between 1995 and 1999, he earned an MPhil in zoology from the University of Ghana. His thirst for knowledge prompted him to continue his education abroad, where he earned a PhD in tropical medicine. Today, our chair is a pharmacist and a biomedical scientist. He is a Ghana College of Pharmacists Fellow, a Japan International Cooperation Agency JICA scholar, and a Postgraduate Institute of Medical Education and Research CV Roman scholar. He is a member of the Association of African Universities and has consulted worldwide on community pharmacy practice, and is also a member of numerous international and local professional bodies. He has taught at various levels in the university and supervised a number of MPhil and PhD students from various backgrounds. He has climbed through the ranks of this university and has been at the forefront of academic leadership in key areas. Presently, he is the Vice Chancellor of this great institution. Before I introduce him, I'll kindly ask that we rise as we sing the UCC anthem.
UCC, we are the liveness of the Lord. UCC, we are the teachers of the nation. We learn to teach, we find out and pass on, we console, we guide, that all may be enlightened. UCC, therefore rise to your call. UCC, to the call, let us rise to our call, let us rise, Veritas nobis lumen. UCC, therefore rise to your call. UCC, to the call, let us rise to our call, let us rise, Veritas nobis lumen. UCC, we are the humblest of them all. UCC, we are the bedrock of our knowledge. Be proud of this, we students and workers in concert shall work, that your image may be heightened. UCC, therefore rise to your call. UCC, to the call, let us rise to our call, let us rise, Veritas nobis lumen. UCC, therefore rise to your call. UCC, to the call, let us rise to our call, let us rise, Veritas nobis lumen. UCC, we are the kindness of them all. UCC, we are the brainchild of Nkrumah. We train, we mold, and live by his vision to impart of virtue, that Ghana may be strengthened. UCC, therefore rise to your call. UCC, to the call, let us rise to our call, let us rise, Veritas nobis lumen. UCC, therefore rise to your call. UCC, to the call, let us rise to our call, let us rise, Veritas nobis lumen.
Thank you. Kindly take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, with a warm round of applause, help me welcome our chairman for this afternoon, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, Professor Johnson Nyako Bwampong.
Thank you. Mr. Jeff T. Emmanuel Onyame, Registrar, University of Cape Coast, Osaberima, Dr. Kwesi Atta II, Omahino of Ogwa Traditional Area, Nana Kwekwenu III, Manrehin of Ogwa Traditional Area, Honorable Kwame Naminta Nyako, MP Cape Coast North Constituency, Professor Philip Bunzi Simpson, President, Methodist University College, Professor Kweku Aduchum Ayim Boache, Vice Chancellor, Cape Coast Technical University, Professor Bashru Moro Ibn Said, Vice Chancellor, Tamil Technical University, Pro-Vice Chancellors of Sister Universities present, Registrars of Sister Universities, Reverend Professor Emmanuel Adobin, former Vice Chancellor UCC, Professor D.D. Kupoli, former Vice Chancellor UCC, Professor Joseph Gata-Ampia, former Vice Chancellor UCC, Professor Joshua Osusetre, former Vice Chancellor, Cape Coast Technical University, Professor David Kofi Esuman, former Vice Chancellor, Koforidua Technical University, Professor John Nelson Bois, former Pro-Vice Chancellor, UCC, Professor George K.T. Odro, former Pro-Vice Chancellor, University of Cape Coast, Professor Dura Francisca Edubuando, former Pro-Vice Chancellor, UCC, Emeritus Professor K.N. Aisin, former Pro-Vice Chancellor, UCC, and some time ago, acting Vice Chancellor, UCC. Emeritus Professor Kingsley Bua Baswa, Miss Provost Mr. Abdul Mahdi, Dean of Students representing the President, Asashi University, Deans, Professor Samuel Atudankan, President General, Kua Research and Manufacturing Company Limited, Mr. Kweku Eni, Chief Executive Officer, Z Technology Takrade, boyfriend of the Directors of academic and administrative units, heads of department and heads of halls, members of convocation, University of Cape Coast alumni, staff and students, distinguished guests, friends in the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of the Governing Council, management, and staff of the University of Cape Coast, I welcome you to today's Professorial Inaugural Lecture to be delivered by Professor Mrs. Rosemond Aboagyewa Boohene. We wish to extend a hearty welcome to all special guests, families, and friends of Professor Rosemond Aboagyewa Boohene. We say Akwaba. We appreciate your presence and support. Distinguished invited guests, within the academy, inaugural lecture provides the occasion for universities to acknowledge the appointment or promotion of academics to the rank of professor, introduce them, and provide them with the opportunity to engage with the university community. An inaugural lecture is therefore a significant milestone in academics' career, recognizing their promotion to professor. Ladies and gentlemen, these lectures form a key part of the traditions of the University of Cape Coast, where we create the platform to enable our astute professors to showcase to the university-wide audience their research or their perspectives on issues of interest to them. Each lecture provides an opportunity of academics to share among others, the achievements in research, innovation, engagement, and teaching activities before an audience of members of the university community and the general public. As you already know, it is the only time an academic gets to profess what he or she knows or thinks without being questioned. Though Professor Mrs. Rosemond Aboagyewa Boohene was promoted to the professorial rank in 2019, it is today that she will celebrate this important personal milestone with a broad audience, including members of the public, family, friends, colleagues, both old and new. Professor Mrs. Rosemond Aboagyewa Boohene will synthesize her scholarship and contributions to knowledge in her field of specialization, which is enterprise development, in the inaugural lecture captioned Entrepreneurship and Enterprise Development in Practice, Tracking the Pathways. Professor Mrs. Boohene will deliver the lecture in a simplified manner so that individuals who do not belong to the same field with him will come to understand what she has come to say. Ladies and gentlemen, before Professor Mrs. Boohene steps forward to deliver her inaugural lecture, permit me to read her profile. Professor Rosemond Aboagyewa Boohene is a professor of enterprise development at the Center for Entrepreneurship and Small Enterprise Development, School of Business, University of Cape Coast, and a Pro-Vice Chancellor of the university. She is a prominent scholar, educator, and researcher in the field of entrepreneurship and small enterprise development. With over 27 years of experience in higher education, she has significantly contributed to the academic and practical understanding of entrepreneurial processes, innovation, enterprise development, and startup ecosystems. Her influential research, dynamic teaching methods, and active engagement with the entrepreneurial community have provided her opportunities to work with many organizations in the area of enterprise development. Her research interests include gender and entrepreneurship development, entrepreneurship and new venture creation, small enterprises development, business incubation, family business, management in small firms, entrepreneurship education, entrepreneurial universities, and small business strategies. She holds a PhD with specialization in entrepreneurship and small enterprise development from the University of New England, Australia, MCOM accounting, and postgraduate diploma in accounting from the University of Otago, New Zealand. Professor Boohene studied at Gallery College, Israel, and Open Polytechnic, New Zealand, earning a diploma in a small and medium-sized enterprise management and development and a certificate in facilitating and designing e-learning level 5 respectively. Indeed, Professor Mrs. Rosemond Aboagyewa Boohene is an international lady. She also graduated from the University of Cape Coast with a Bachelor of Commerce and Diploma in Education in 1993. In academia, Professor Boohene progressed from principal research assistant in 1997 to professor in 2019. From April 1999 to date, she has practiced as an assistant lecturer, senior lecturer, associate professor, and professor of enterprise development at the University of Cape Coast. Professor Boohene has taught and supervised undergraduate and postgraduate students in management courses, entrepreneurship, and small enterprise development. During this period, she has also mentored young academics, some of whom are in top echelons of academia today. She has graduated 8 PhD students, either as principal supervisor or co-supervisor, and is presently supervising 4 PhD students. Professor Boohene worked at the Bonn-Randschik University of Applied Sciences, Germany, as a visiting professor from September 2019 to February 2020, where she taught and coached undergraduate students. She also worked as a research assistant at the University of Otago, New Zealand, and the University of New England, Australia. Professor Boohene has published extensively in her professional career, deepening knowledge in entrepreneurship and new venture creation, small enterprise development, business incubation, family business management, entrepreneurship education in tertiary institutions, and other related fields. She has contributed over 50 journal articles, book chapters, referred conference proceedings, and technical papers. She has also been a reviewer of Academy of Entrepreneurship Journal, Journal of Educational Development and Practice, and Journal of Business and Enterprise Development. Professor Boohene is currently the Pro-Vice-Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast. Prior to this position, she has served in various administrative positions in the university, where she has demonstrated proven capabilities as a team leader, an inspirer, and a motivator. In all these positions held, Professor Boohene led the units to greater heights. Professor Boohene had continually participated in various capacity building programs in Ghana and abroad. This extensive academic and managerial training have not only empowered her with key competencies, but have also broadened her understanding of the modern complexities and diversities within the entrepreneurship and enterprise development landscape, and deepened her knowledge in diverse fields. Professor Boohene has continually participated in numerous international and local conferences and workshops as a participant. She has also served as a resource person, a facilitator, and a panel discussant at several workshops in Africa, Europe, and elsewhere. She has also partnered with both international and local organizations. In her pursuit of academic excellence, Professor Boohene has over the years been recognized and received scholarships and awards from many prestigious institutions both in Ghana and abroad. Professor Boohene has consulted extensively for various organizations and gained significant experience in working on research projects which attracted funds to the tune of 633,600,000 euros, 320,096 dollars, and 10 million Ghana cedis. Through her ingenuity, some members of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises won grants from the Skill Development Fund (SDF) of the Council for Technical and Vocational Education and Training (COVET) to train members to acquire the necessary professional skills to stay in business and to create wealth for members of the association. She also partnered with colleagues from the University of Turku, Finland, to develop a United Nations Economic Commission for Africa sponsored online course on entrepreneurial universities. In successfully executing these projects and many more, Professor Boohene demonstrated experience in leadership and turned plans into action. As part of her outreach and extension services, Professor Boohene has served on numerous boards and committees internationally and locally, contributing extensively and showing an excellent track record of successful cooperation and collaborative working relationship. Professor Mrs. Rosemond Aboagyewa Boohene was born on the 11th of August 1967 to Mr. David Appiah Jima and Mrs. Christiana Utubia Appiah Jima in Accra. She hails from Latte Equiapim, and she is the third of 6 sisters. She obtained her ordinary level certificate from Wesley Grammar School at Accra in 1986, an advanced level certificate from Unibar Secondary School in 1988. She pursued her bachelor degree at the University of Cape Coast. Professor Boohene is married to Mr. Kwame Akono Boohene, aka Kimbo. And they have 3 children who are now adults. Kwame Ewurade Asida Boohene, Ewurama Esiedua Boohene, and Nana Ama Utubia Boohene. Her hobbies are dog breeding, watching films, cooking, and singing. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Prof. Chair. Let's do it for him one more time whilst he takes his seat. So ahead of the lecture, we are going to have a musical interlude. And I would ask that you help me welcome the Association of Students with Special Needs. They are going to do us the honors. Let's welcome them with a round of applause. They'll be singing from where they are seated anyway.
So we sing a song that Professor requested. Join us to thank the Lord. Congratulations, Professor. Asida ninaye udi Jesus mi butenti nyami ai ninaraye udi Jesus makutemni Baba kasini asidani naye udi Jesus mi butenti nyami ai ninaye udi Jesus makutemni Baba kasini. Join us in the song. Asida oh Jesus me butenti nyame ai ninaye udi Jesus makutemni Baba kesi asida yemudu asida inaudi oh Jesus butempti nyame ai inaudi Jesus makutemni Baba unyami tawai unyami watu nti asidaye udo Father, we thank you. Oh, Yebeka, Yebeka. Jesus, Yebebo. Da, da. Oh, nyame newaye dosu watu timode oh asida ninaye udi Jesus Baba. Thank you, Lord.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Thus far by grace, and we give God all the praise. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to listen to the lecture, which is going to be on the topic, Entrepreneurship and Enterprise Development in Practice, Tracking the Pathways. Welcome our speaker, Professor Mrs. Rosemond Aboagyewa Boohene.
Prof. Chair, please allow me to refer to the protocol already established.
Forgive me, Prof. So we're going to have an individual who is going to interpret this in sign language for us. And let's welcome Jifa, who is here to do us the honors. Thank you.
Thank you once again. I'll start. Prof. Chair, please allow me to refer to the protocols already established. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Nananum, good afternoon. And I want to say a very big thank you to my children. I call them my children, the Association of Students with Special Needs. So those who sang were members, they are visually impaired. And we've been working with them. We want to promote entrepreneurship amongst them. So thank you very much. Prof. Chair, I'm going to talk about entrepreneurship and enterprise development in practice, and I'm going to track the pathways. If you look at the background picture, actually I'm looking at the chaotic situation, a circle where people wake up early in the morning around 4:30, others selling, taxi drivers plying their trade. And you agree with me that when we talk of entrepreneurship, we are trying to look at how we take advantage of opportunities without being constrained by the resources we currently own. This is technology for you. I have to put it on slideshow. So the computer has decided to stop. But it doesn't matter. I'll start with the lecture because that's the work I've been doing and I should be able to speak to it. So we are looking at entrepreneurship and enterprise development in practice. And every time we mention entrepreneurship, usually I tell people that entrepreneurship is just taking advantage of opportunities without being constrained by the resources you own. So for instance, today, if I decided that I want to start a football academy, I don't need to own a land or I don't need to own a field. All that I will have to do is to identify whether it is an opportunity and I can rent the land or I can rent a field from someone. So when we talk of entrepreneurship, all that we are saying is that we are taking advantage of opportunities without being constrained by the resources we currently own. Now, if you look at entrepreneurship and enterprise development, actually these two concepts have been touted to be very important to every economy in the world, because entrepreneurship and enterprise development provide employment, they support innovation, and they serve as a source of livelihood for majority of the populace. So you can see that when we talk of entrepreneurship and enterprise development, they play a very important and a key role in every economy. Now, when we say entrepreneurship, I've already mentioned that you take advantage of opportunities without being constrained by the resources you currently own. And usually when people start businesses, they start micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. So we are not saying that in entrepreneurship we don't start large enterprises, but usually when people are starting, we tell them you have to start small, but you have to think big. So when we are looking at entrepreneurship, we are looking at people starting businesses without being constrained by the resources they own, and usually they start small, medium-sized enterprises. So I now go to the ICT. I wanted the computer to know that I can speak without the ICT, because it is something I've been doing. So even if I'm dreaming, I dream entrepreneurship and small enterprise development. So as I indicated earlier, the process consists of starting micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. And I've already said that they are very, very important to the economy of every country. And therefore, if you pick United States of America, so I decided to select an advanced country, I decided to select an African country, and I decided to focus on Ghana. And if you look at the statistics, you can see that most of them contribute 90%, more than 90% of registered companies. So micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, if you pick all companies around the world, they contribute more than 90%. They also contribute to employment, and they also contribute to the gross national product or gross domestic product. So you can see that entrepreneurship is very, very important for the economic development of every country. Now, when we say entrepreneurship, usually when I mention entrepreneurship, people ask me, what is that animal called entrepreneurship? Taking advantage of opportunities without being constrained. And when we say entrepreneurship, we are not saying everybody is starting a business. Even when you are working in an organization, we expect you to be entrepreneurial, because the environment within which we are operating is not static. It's changing day in and day out. You have new people entering the business, we have competition, and therefore when we say entrepreneurship, we are not saying everybody should start a business, but within organizations in which you are working in, can you also be entrepreneurial, come up with new and innovative ways of doing things? And whilst I was looking at the entrepreneurial process, I decided to pick this model by Hisrich and Peters. And usually when we say entrepreneurship, there are a lot of factors that influence people to be entrepreneurial. We look at the personal, we look at the sociological, sometimes your network, your teams, the things they do. We look at organizational, and we also look at the environment. The environment creates opportunities. And usually I tell people that when there is chaos, that is when people identify opportunities. And I usually use this as an example. When there was the war in Afghanistan, that is where you saw a lot of US companies forming security companies, because they realized that the soldiers and the US Army and whatever they are doing in Afghanistan, they will need security. So when there is chaos and there are discontinuance or there is confusion, that is where some people also are able to identify business opportunities. So with the entrepreneurial process, looking at the model from Hisrich and Peters, they are saying that the first thing is you identify an idea, When you identify the idea, you have to look at the feasibility of that idea. Then you also have to look at the resources that you need to be able to take advantage of that idea. You implement the idea and you grow the business. If it is not a business and it is a process you want to change in an organization, it also goes through this process, and the process moves round and round and round until you are able to take advantage of opportunities. Usually when we say opportunities, we are looking at you creating something of value. And I always tell people that when you even pick higher education, the opportunity, the value they create. So for instance, if you pick Harvard University, people associate law with Harvard University. It is that value they are creating. If you pick Harvard University and you see a professor from Harvard University, you've created value in relation to that professor. Or if you have a certificate from the #1 university in Ghana, University of Cape Coast, you attach value to that certificate. So you can see that every part of our life, it is entrepreneurship. And remember, I said entrepreneurship and enterprise development, they go together. Now, I picked these key elements of entrepreneurial activity from the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor. And the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, Babson College, these top universities, they decided that there is the need for them to carry out research on entrepreneurial activities in these countries, so that at the end of the day, when they are looking at the various elements of entrepreneurship, they will be able to say it in relation to the context in which they studied their entrepreneur. They have key elements. We have the basic requirements and we have the efficiency enhancers. Actually, the basic requirements and the efficiency enhancers were developed by the World Economic Forum when they were looking at a country's competitiveness. And they are looking at the various elements that influence activities in society. So with these basic requirements, they were just looking at competitiveness of countries. But the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor decided to connect it to entrepreneurship because those activities, when we come to look at the entrepreneurial ecosystem, influence entrepreneurship in a country. So we look at the finance, we look at government policies, and you can see that from the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, we are also looking at entrepreneurial activities within an organization. So if you look at my presentation, I just want to set the scene because I want to link theory, research, and practice. I want to be a professor who practices what I preach. So you link the theory to the research and you link it to practice. Now, so based on all these things I've indicated in relation to entrepreneurship, which environment, or what is the environment within which entrepreneurship and enterprise development activity occurs? Now, when we look at the entrepreneurship ecosystem, we are looking at it as a network. So we have various elements, we have various actors. They support the entrepreneurial activity within a region. And what are the factors? So we have the policy, we have finance, we have culture, we have human capital, we have non-governmental organizations, we have markets, we have leadership, we have government institutions. And all these various stakeholders network, they interconnect to support entrepreneurial activities in various countries. So we've looked at the scene, what entrepreneurship is, the process, the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor. We've looked at the entrepreneurial ecosystem. So then how do we link the system, the various activities, the research, and the practice? And that is the crust of my inaugural lecture. I want to track the pathways. And in tracking the pathways, I've decided to select 3 activities I have carried out in the area of entrepreneurship and small enterprise development. But in looking at these activities, remember I said there is a need for me to link the theory, the research, and the practice. So we have various theories on entrepreneurship. I decided to just select a few of them to be able to build my entrepreneurial tree So we have the economic theories, Schumpeter talking about creativity. We have psychological theories that talk about people who have the need for achievement, like Elon Musk, starting businesses in various areas. We have the behavioral theory. We even have strategic theory, and we have the resource-based theories. So all these theories have integrated them to be able to support the research that I've carried out in the area of entrepreneurship and small enterprise development. Prof. Chair, as I indicated, I have selected 3 main areas to focus my presentation on. And the first area I call the small enterprise development. As I indicated earlier, small enterprises support economic development of every country. So I gave you the various statistics. But before these small enterprises can support economic development, they need to grow. Because if they are not growing, or they are dying, or they are not surviving, then how do they support economic development? So we are looking at the growth of these small and medium-sized enterprises. And what are the factors that influence their growth? We are looking at their entrepreneurial orientation. We are looking at their innovativeness. We are looking at strategies. We are looking at access to finance. We are even looking at the skills of these small enterprises, government policies, and an enabling environment. So small enterprises contribute to economic development. They will be able to do that if they grow. And these are the factors that influence, some of the factors that influence the growth of these micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, who are very important to the economic development of every country. So my first research, or the first research I did, I've done quite a number of research, but I decided to select this research because I was looking at entrepreneurship social capital and how it influences firm growth. And I was looking at the moderating role of access to finance. And when we talk of social capital, it is a resource, and we are looking at the networks, the connections these micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises have, and how it influences their access to finance. So I found out that this network and contact enabled small enterprises to access finance. Then there is one interesting finding from this research. I also found out that the more these small enterprises get access to finance, their performance or their growth is negative. So I decided to go into why their performance or their growth is negative. And we realized that because they are borrowing money from the banks and the interest rates are very high, although they have access to the finance, but the interest rate is so high to the extent that when they use that money to produce, they are not able to make enough profits. And remember, I've indicated that I'm carrying out this research because later on you see how I connect it to various experiences I've had with this micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. The next research was also looking at strategic orientation and the performance of family firms. I always tell people that when you pick most of the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, actually most of them are family firms. And when we say family firms, it is owned by the husband, the wife, or the children. It is only a few that are huge. Even some of the multinational enterprises are also family firms. But we normally don't go into looking at the dynamics of family firms. And I don't want to talk about that now because that's one of the topics I like most because of the nature of our value systems. So if it is Wofe's business, I can work in the business, and by the time he realizes I've squandered all the money because it is for my uncle. So there are dynamics in relation to family firms, and I decided to look at entrepreneurial orientation, strategic orientation, and the performance of these family firms. And what I found out was that the more these family firms use proactive strategies, that is, they are innovative, the more they also were able to perform well. Then I also looked at activities in the e-waste sector, small, micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. When we say e-waste, as part of this project, we said money day for baller. So you see the scrap dealers going around picking metals, picking discarded electronic materials, And it will interest you to know that in some of those materials, they have copper, they have zinc, they have various types of minerals. And we're looking at micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises who are working in this sector. And we picked 14 regions out of the 16 regions. So we went to Ho, we went to Tamale, we went to Koforidua, we went to Sunyani to look at how these micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises were performing their activities. And as I go on and I give you the project, you see that one of the projects, we were looking at these enterprises and we're helping them to get money, but at the same time, not destroying the environment. So we looked at the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in the e-waste sector. Then we also looked at transformational entrepreneurship and small enterprises. So we're looking at how entrepreneurship helps these small enterprises. And we realized that most of these enterprises, yes, they want to be entrepreneurial, but they also face key challenges. And some of these challenges are proper policies that will guide their activities. Then finally, with our research on small enterprise development, we decided to look at rural entrepreneurship. Usually when we are carrying out the research, we go to the urban centers, and we decided to look at a synthesis of the literature on rural entrepreneurship. When you go to the rural areas, you have the farms, you have the small manufacturer, you also have small service industry, but no one really thinks about them. I remember we had the opportunity when we were working on the Tvucc for the district assemblies to go to DSO. And you can see that that place, nobody will even want to go there. The roads are very bad. Everything is poor. We had to even organize a training program under a tree. And these are the small enterprises who are operating there, but they don't get the support or they don't get the mentoring and coaching. So we decided to look at the literature in relation to these small enterprises. So, Prof. Chair, based on the theories and based on the research I've carried out, let me look at the practice, what I've done with micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. And I'm going to talk about two projects I worked on. We have the Switch African Green Project, and we also have the Tvucc project. I'll start with the Switch African Green Project. The first project, we have phases 1 and 2. And the first project, the value was $296,000. And this project was implemented by United Nations Environmental Program. I had the opportunity to be the project leader from University of Cape Coast, and we work with University of Northampton and United Nations University in Berlin. And the aim was to support these micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in the e-waste sector in the area of green business development. Fortunately, when we finished with the phase 1, the European Union decided to give us the opportunity to implement the phase 2, which was 1.3 million euros. And I was still the project leader, and we worked with the Ghana National Cleaner Production Center, Adelphi Research Germany, City Waste Recycling Ghana Limited, and of course we have the University of Cape Coast. And the aim of that project was help micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, but make sure they don't pollute the environment. And if you look at some of the pictures here, you can see that these micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, when they pick the electronic waste, they burn, especially those who pick the cables. They try to burn the cables so that they will be able to get access to the copper. And you can see in the picture that in their attempt to burn the cables, they pollute the atmosphere. So those who live around the area, you see the thick smoke, they pollute the atmosphere, they pollute the soil, and they themselves get sick. So as part of the project, we decided that, yes, we're going to show them how they can dismantle these electronic wastes in an environmentally sound manner. So you can see that on your right, that is when we trained most of them. We gave them toolkits to dismantle these electronic materials. Then we didn't stop there. We also trained them. We helped some of them to register their businesses. We helped them to form association. In those days, we even gave them the opportunity. We were working with the Ghana Revenue Authority to get tax identification numbers so that they become recognized micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, so that anybody wants to deal with them or the government wants information on these enterprises, they will be able to get them. So these are some of the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises we work with. And remember, I said we work with them from 14 regions. So we travel to these regions, talk to them, and remember with the project partners, some of them have skills in that area. So they were supporting with the project in terms of how they can dismantle some of these materials in an environmentally sound manner. So at the end of the day, the consortium came up with a book we call Money Day for Baller. So you think that it is baller, but there is a lot of money in that baller. Then the next project I also work with in terms of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprise is the Skills Development Fund. And I decided to just select 2 of the companies or 2 of the associations I work with. And based on that, I acted as an intermediary. And when I say intermediary, before the Skills Development Fund will give these small enterprises the funds they are asking for, their proposal they have to write should be demand-driven. And I am supposed to help them to develop those demand-driven proposals. So I have to collaborate with them. I have to make sure they have MOU with service providers so that at the end of the day, they will be able to get these funds to build the capacity of their members. So I did that with Azulenu Oil Makers Association. They are from Jomoro. Ezimitianu Coconut Virgin Oil Producers Association. At the end of the day, all we wanted to do was to make sure that the products they produce are of good quality so that they can get good price. So we are not looking at only the product, we are also looking at their bookkeeping skills, their marketing skills, their operational skills, and the aim was to develop these small enterprises. I also work with Sewefia, that is Central and Western Region Fishmongers Improvement Association, to also get money from the Business Development Fund. And all these things we were doing was just to help them build their capacity so that they can improve upon their businesses and help this micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises grow. So these are just examples of some of the works, the practical works I've done in relation to small enterprises. So I'm looking at the theory, I'm looking at the research, and I'm also looking at the practice. Prof Chair, the next activity I want to talk about is entrepreneurship education. I've worked with quite a number of students, so when you were coming, you saw some of the products that our students develop. And I've worked with quite a number of students in the area of entrepreneurship and support services. And in entrepreneurship education, you are just giving them the knowledge and skills that help students develop a business or develop the entrepreneurial mindset. So we give them proactive risk-taking. We also have reality shows and documentaries. And at the end of the day, we are expecting that they will develop the entrepreneurial mindset or they will be encouraged to start businesses. So when we say entrepreneurship education, it is just supporting students' perseverance, risk-taking, proactiveness to start businesses on their own. And if they are not even able to start businesses, we want them to what? Develop the entrepreneurial mindset. So we did a research, myself and Nina Free, we did a research on entrepreneurship education and entrepreneurial culture among University of Cape Coast students. Then we had pockets of entrepreneurship. That's business school was running entrepreneurship course. The home economics was also running an entrepreneurship course. Agric was also running an entrepreneurship course. So we wanted to see whether these courses, this training they go through, will give them the startup intention, whether they want to start up or they just develop the entrepreneurial mindset. Then we also looked at television programs, the programs we watch on television, and whether it also leads to entrepreneurial culture. So, for instance, they can have a business plan competition, they can have role models, people who have excelled in business, being interviewed on TV, or Joy has what they call the Joy Business One. So will these programs, if people watch these programs, will they have that startup intention or will they develop the entrepreneurial mindset? Then finally, what we also looked at was we were not looking at only the programs and the teaching. We were looking at the mode. So when I'm teaching entrepreneurship, what are the approaches I use? We have 3 approaches. We have education about entrepreneurship, education for entrepreneurship, and education through entrepreneurship. Education about entrepreneurship, you are just giving people the awareness. And when you create the awareness, maybe they may decide that they want to have the entrepreneurial mindset. Education for entrepreneurship, you want the students or whoever you are taking the person through entrepreneurship to have that startup motive, to start something. And education through entrepreneurship, it is just, we are just looking at the pedagogical strategy. When I say pedagogical, let me be simple. The teaching methodology you use. So for instance, I can teach French, I can teach drama, and I can use entrepreneurship in terms of the methodology to teach the students so that when they finish, they can start something in those areas. So based on that, we looked at the Center for Entrepreneurship and Small Enterprise Development. This was a paper I did with a colleague, and we're looking at the center we've established and some of the things they can do. And we shared that with our colleagues from the UK so that we can compare notes, because at the end of the day, remember I said entrepreneurship improves economic development, and it is not only in developing countries. Even in developed countries, when you go to Stanford, MIT, and even Cambridge, they all have enterprises and entrepreneurship because they believe that that is the way to go. And remember, I always say that if we have a lot of graduate unemployment, it is a national security issue. And therefore, entrepreneurship can come to the rescue. So what are some of the projects I did? What are some of the projects I did? I've looked at 2 main aspects. One, I'm looking at university programs. So I remember we now have a university-wide entrepreneurship course. And this university-wide entrepreneurship course, that was what I call my personal action plan when I had a training in Germany. As part of the training, you are supposed to develop something. And I realized that we have entrepreneurship in pockets of various departments. Why don't we make it compulsory for the whole students of the university? So I developed this university-wide entrepreneurship course. And as part of that, we also developed the University of Cape Coast's Business Incubator. Then we have the Design Thinking and Innovation Hub. The Vice Chancellor wanted to make the university an entrepreneurial university, so we supported in establishing this Design Thinking and Innovation Hub. Then the final university program was what I call the Social Entrepreneurship. And I indicated earlier that if you look at my children, the special needs children, what we thought was, can we develop entrepreneurship among these special needs students? So what we did initially was to talk to the World Bank. They gave us a car and they gave us 15 laptop computers. Then we also talked to Unibank, former Unibank, and they also gave us 15 computers, desktop computers. So what we were doing was when we are on vacation, we collect money from people, and these students will stay for 2 weeks, the students with special needs, and they train them in the use of ICT and the computers. So at the end of the day, we are expecting that they should be able to write their assignments by using the computers, and some of them have started doing that. We are looking to expand the project, so anybody here who wants to help, when we call on you, please come and support us to be able to help our students with special needs. Recently, because we don't get a lot of money, because they have to stay, and we have to feed them, we have to accommodate them, and sometimes when they are moving, we even have to give them transport. So we do it for 5 days. Otherwise, the plan is to do it for 2 weeks every vacation, because in the long run, we are expecting that they will be able to learn ICT, write books, and we sell those books online. And it will interest you to know that most of them are on first class. Some of them are even teaching assistants at the University of Cape Coast. So that is the social entrepreneurship I'm talking about. Then the other projects we work with, I work with the Bonn Rhein-Sieg University of Applied Sciences on a project we call Teaching for Development. So we had 3 phases of the project. And for the 3 phases, we are on the 4th phase. And I didn't add it here because we just started the 4th phase. But the 3 phases of the project, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, we had 1.2 million euros. And the aim of the project was to build industry collaboration do networking, adopt practice orientation in teaching and research, and also organize business plan competition. So when we started the project, we had DEG, a German finance company, that was supporting us with the business plan competition. So the first prize was 6,000 euros, the second prize was 5,000 euros, and the third prize was 4,000 euros. So these are some of the businesses. For instance, as part of the project, we bought a canoe for our students. They call themselves Atlantic Tours. So when you go to Elmina now, you see that they provide tour for people on the seas over there. Then we also have another one, a student, she's now a medical doctor. She decided to develop bags and backpacks from waste. And it will interest you to know that the business is still running, and she even supplies some of her products to contacts. So as part of the project, we connected with businesses in Germany, and anytime they need the product, she sends the products to the various contacts in Germany. So these are our students who have that small boat. If you want a ride, you can visit Elmina and make sure you know how to swim. Then another project, you know, we are now talking about AI. So I remember when I was doing my sabbatical in Germany, myself and my German counterpart, we developed this project, and we called it the Digica project. And the project was 1.6 million euros. And with this Digica project, we wanted to develop the ICT skills of our students. So we're looking at business intelligence and data science. And what we did was that we were taking them through training, and after every training, we were supporting them to get Microsoft certification. So the aim was to develop the skills. The skills can be employability skills, and also those who want to start businesses like developing softwares in ICT, they will be able to do that. So these, by the time we finish, we have trained 444 participants. 79 of them have secured jobs, although some of them were service persons. I know EcoBank and Amalitech and the Institute of ICT professionals also employed some of our students. Then we realized that we're not only looking at entrepreneurship, we also had to develop their career. So we had these career development modules. Then as part of the project, we developed the 400 people we trained. We selected about 40 of them we were calling the junior consultants. So they will come to your organization and talk to you. If you have any ICT issue, they listen to you, developed a program or software, then they come and do a presentation to you for you to see whether this is the type of product you lacked. And what we did was we expanded the project to include the Accra Technical University. And as part of the project, we built something we call the Flex Lab. And the Flex Lab was, the long word is flexible lab. The aim is to provide a lab, and we have 40 laptop computers. So students can go there, they can move the table and chairs around. And the aim was for them to practice whatever they've been taught in business intelligence and data science. And as part of the project, the economics department, they are developing a program, a master's program in data science. I think it is with the School of Graduate Studies. And recently, what we did was, because the project has ended, we handed over the first lab to the university. And because I'm the Prof and I'm part of the project, it was handed over to me. I'll give it to the Vice Chancellor. So the Flex Lab has been handed over to the university with the 40. We don't have only 40 computers, we have 3D printers and other electronic gadgets, and we've handed it over formally to the university because we are done with the project. Then the final project I want to talk about in terms of entrepreneurship education is what I call the Systems Change Program. And in this project, we are working with Ashasi University. So we have colleagues from Ashasi University here. And the main aim of the project was to increase the employability of our students. You know, we teach the students, they need to get soft skills, they need to get a LinkedIn profile, and we realized that there was a need for us to support them to be able to do that. So we are working with Ashase. The project is still ongoing, and we are training the students in various areas. So we are looking at CV, resume writing, professional etiquette. We even teach them personal branding. Because when you go to work and someone is interviewing you, there's no. So we have to teach you personal branding, how to talk in public. And these are the things we are teaching the students. What we do is that we are even using something we call peer counselors. So we pick the students, selected students, and we partner with the counseling center. We train them, and they in turn will train and act as peer counselors to their colleagues. And in this way, what we are doing is, whilst we are training them to be peer counselors, we are also teaching them the spirit of volunteerism. We don't pay them, they have to learn that there is a need for you to give back in terms of what the society gives you. So these are some of the projects I've worked with when it comes to entrepreneurship, education, and support services. Then finally, we talk about what we call the entrepreneurial universities. This is a catchword. It's when you go to Cambridge, when you meet people from Makerere University, everybody is talking about entrepreneurial universities. And it is simply a university that forces entrepreneurship and innovation among staff, students, and the community. And to see an entrepreneurial university, we are looking at research and innovation. We are looking at even leadership. The leadership within the university should be entrepreneurial. You can't give what you don't have. When Jesus was giving 5 loaves, 2 fishes, he said, what do you have? He said, we have 5 loaves and 2 fishes. And he blessed it. So we are also looking at leadership and governance in these institutions of higher learning. They should have that entrepreneurial mindset before they can give it out to the people who are working within this university. So I worked on a paper with 2 colleagues from the University of Tvucc on entrepreneurial universities. We're looking at the various patterns of entrepreneurial universities in selected African countries. And at the end of the day, what we found out was that, yes, entrepreneurial universities is very important, but they differ from one context to the other. So for instance, if you go to University of Oxford, they will talk about entrepreneurial university, but their context is different. When you come to UCC, we'll talk about entrepreneurial university. Maybe we want to focus more on student entrepreneurship or teacher-led entrepreneurship or commercialization of research. So these are some of the things we found out in terms of entrepreneurial universities. And Prof Chair, it will interest you to know that whilst we are looking at entrepreneurship in terms of leadership and governance, I worked extensively with the Association of African Universities. It has got more than 400 members across Africa. And we built the capacity of vice chancellors, pro-vice chancellors, registrars. Those are the top hierarchy of the university in the area of entrepreneurial universities so that they build the entrepreneurial mindset. We did that for University of Rwanda by popular request, University of Namibia by popular request, and also we did that for the Botswana Accountancy College. So we spent about a week or 2. I went with the Association of African Universities, and we trained these university managers in the area of entrepreneurial university. Then because of that, the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa asked us to develop an online course on an entrepreneur. So myself and the 3 colleagues, we developed an online course on entrepreneurial universities so that the university managers who will not be able to travel to those countries, we go and do the training program. They can do that online. And now we have formed the African Entrepreneurial Universities Alliance. So, Prof Chair, as I indicated, I have selected these 3 main activities because of time to highlight on my research and also highlight on the practice. So we don't look at only research, we don't look at only the theories, but we practice what we preach. So in all these, what are the implications and the lessons learned? In all these experiences, what are the implications and the lessons learned? And one thing I realized was limited access to finance. when you pick the small firms, when you even pick our student entrepreneurial activities, you can see that some of these young ones are eager to move ahead with their businesses, but we have limited access to finance. Then, of course, we have inadequate infrastructure. Then we have the regulatory burden. Now, if you register a business, every year you have to renew. And you ask yourself, how many small firms can do that? And when you are going to renew, you need information from the auditor. So we have to look at how we can ease. When you go to the US, they try to make things easier for these small firms, for will-be entrepreneurs, so that they will be able to register their businesses. Then we also still have the skills gap. Most of these small enterprises don't have the needed managerial, entrepreneurial skills. So it means there is a lot of work for us to do. Then market access. They produce the products. Sometimes they don't even know where to send these products. We have the African Continental Free Trade Area. Can we support them to be able to do that? That's what we are looking at. Then the human resources. We need mentors. We need coaches. If I talk to you about what the D-Hub does, the incubator does, we need a lot of people to support these young ones to be able to expand their businesses. And the final one is the sustainability. I've mentioned that most of them we have grants, but at the end of the day, we should be able to have a regular source of finance to support these enterprises. I remember one day, one of the people, the scrap yard people I work with, he called me. He said, Professor Boohene, can you come and do training for us? I said, in my head, what? Because I need resources to be able to do that. So you can see that they are eager, but sometimes we don't have the resources we need to be able to do those things for them. So what are my recommendations? My recommendations are we need specialized agencies. We need financial support programs, genuine financial support programs. That will not give financial support to those people we know, but those who are capable and have feasible business ideas. Then we have to, I know CODVET and the Skills Development Fund, they are still organizing capacity building for these micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. And finally, we are also looking at policy reforms. And I've indicated that the registration, every year you have to register. It is too burdensome for these micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. Prof Chair, before I take my seat, I have developed a two-stage model of entrepreneurship training, and I want to share with colleagues here. It is a two-stage model I have developed. We can look at it, and if there is a need for us to improve it. And the first stage of the model, I call it integrated model, is the stage 1, entrepreneurship training for second cycle institutions. We are looking at entrepreneurship training for second cycle institutions. It can be those who are still in school or those who are finished and they want to join the university. And the first model I want us to look at is military training. And when I talk of military training, we are not going to teach them how to shoot guns. No. We are teaching them patriotism, because if you go to Israel and China and you look at some of the things they teach the people in the military, it is not only for defense. They teach them patriotism, ethics, discipline, personal development, and leadership. And you can see that most of the people who come to the universities, they are very young. You get 15, 16, 17 years coming to the university. So I believe that if we give them this training, we give them agricultural training. Recently, you can buy tomatoes for 5 cedis, 1 tomato for 5 cedis. And I ask myself, if you travel along the country, you see vast tracts of land. You see the water joining the sea. And we say we are hungry. No, there is a need for us to go back to basics. And there is a need for us to give them agricultural training. Then we teach them digital literacy because of AI. And finally, we give them the entrepreneurship training. And when we give them the entrepreneurship training, then we support them with feasibility and startup. That is the first stage model I'm proposing for our second cycle institutions. And I hope MP Kwame Nami-Danyako, you are listening to this model. Let's clap for him. He is planning to. So that is my first model. Then my second stage, I'm looking at entrepreneurship training for tertiary education students. I didn't say university, so it means it can be the technical universities. It can be any tertiary education student. So when we finish with the training for those young ones at the senior high school level, when they get into any tertiary educational institution, remember we are looking at feasibility study and startup as the end. So when they get into the university, we screen them. And we can select about 1,000 or 2,000, and we call them the elite entrepreneurship group. And this elite entrepreneurship group, we're expecting that if each of them contributes, so when we have 2,000 students, and each of them is contributing 5 cedis a day, 2,000 times 5 is how much? 10,000. 10,000 for 5 days is how much? 50,000. 50,000 times 10 weeks is how much? 500,000. So what we are doing now, we are looking at something in entrepreneurship we call crowdfunding. So we are pooling the resources together. So what we are planning to do is that they will contribute this for the entire 4 years they stay on the university campus. Then we invest the funds. I had the opportunity to visit universities in the US, and they use the finance department or economics department to do the investment for their university. So we can invest the funds for the student. Then in addition, we should create an entrepreneurial fund where people with business ideas, we support them from that entrepreneurial fund to conduct feasibility analysis. So you see that the 5th stage, we equip them with skills and support services. Then we give them the startup capital. When they finish and they are leaving, we can give them the money they've contributed with interest. And what we encourage them to do is that they can do it alone, or the elite people from the elite entrepreneurship group, they can join hands to start something, start a business. If they decide they don't also want to start a business and they want to collect their money and go and enjoy, we will also give them their money back to go and enjoy. And when we do that and we help them to grow these businesses, we can follow up and do. So what we are looking at in terms of this 2-stage model is that we are going to do a pilot. And I always tell people that where there is a will, there is a way. It is always possible. It is possible. I'm not talking about that other, it is possible. I'm talking about mine, it is possible. So, Prof. Chair, these are the models I have developed to promote entrepreneurship and small enterprise development. On this note, I want to thank you very much for your attention.
I believe we can do it better for her while she takes her seat. So Prof will be back to extend appreciation to a few individuals here. But before that, I would invite the Association of Students with Special Needs to give us another musical interlude. Let's welcome them with a round of applause.
Okay, now you can shake body small, you know. Okay. Once more. Asem papa bio, asem Asim papa bia matini say Yesu yodo oye enjonya miye oye Asim papa bia mati oye Asim papa bia matini say Yesu Ejunya miye Oma yumbum kase oye oye Mikra sorry Ejunya miye Oma yumbum kase oye Ejunya miye Missy oh yeah Mikra sorry not to jumse oh yeah ampa oh yeah on my mum kase Mikra sorry Ejunya miye Woman who say na hindi fatano Woman who say na hindi fatano o say Hallelujah Oceana Mesi mumono seye na hindi fatano Mumono seye na hindi fatano say Hallelujah Oceana Hallelujah Oceana Mesi abun sama koma Wakom Went to me anyeshe Oh he sude Oh ya hindi mohe Mama yina ye Mama yimuno se say hallelujah Oceana Hallelujah Oceana Besi obun sama koma Went to me anyeshe Oh he yesude Oh ya hindi mohe Mama yina ye Mama yimuno se say hallelujah Oceana Hallelujah Oceana 90 fatano kasa.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Association of Students with Special Needs. We are going to ask our speaker to return to the stage to acknowledge a few individuals. Help me welcome her, Professor Mrs. Rosemond Aboagyewa Boohene.
Thank you once again for inviting me back. Before I start my acknowledgements, I want to acknowledge everybody who is here. I'm very grateful, and I really appreciate your presence here. And the first on the list is the Almighty God. The other time when they were giving my story, I was telling them that my secretary will say, Prof, don't say it. But I told him I will say it. I asked him, do you know the Odo River? I think most of you don't know the Odo River. But when we were kids, That's where we go and swim. So you can see the sort of I'm bringing. By God's grace, I'm still alive. So anytime we are walking from one place to the other, we make sure that when we get to that Odo River, we go and swim there. So I thank the Almighty God for his mercies towards me. Then I want to thank the University of Cape Coast, because the University of Cape Coast gave me a degree. The University of Cape Coast gave me a job. The University of Cape Coast gave me a husband. This is where my children schooled for their junior high school. And when I go on pension, University of Cape Coast will be paying my pension. So I'm very grateful to the University of Cape Coast. Then I want to thank the Chancellor, Sir Sam Eson Jonah. He couldn't join me here, but he always calls me Magagia. I want to thank him very much for his advice and support, and also the Chairman of Council. I've worked with them closely. Then I want to say a big thank you to the Vice Chancellor. He calls me International Lady. So I don't know whether to call him the International Gentleman now that I'm standing here. But he always calls me International Lady. I've worked with him closely, and I want to say a big thank you for giving me the opportunity to work with you. Then the registrar, I always call Brate. Brate, thank you very much. I've also worked with you closely. Then I'll also say thank you to Nanano Osaberima, Dr. Kwesiata II. I've also been working with them closely. And Nana Kwekuenu, Emma, we're of Ogwa traditional area. And Nanaba Eyaba. I remember when I was at Adeshe, and I was a member of the executives of Adeshe Hall. Anytime we were organizing Hall Week, we go and borrow her regalia and other things because we had Nana Hima. Nana, I still remember. Thank you very much. Then I want to thank former Vice Chancellors, Professor Didi Kupoli. I've worked with him very closely. He's like a father to me. He gave me the opportunity to work at the international office, and we always worked very well. Prof, where are you? I hope you remember bottoms up. And that's what happened to us when we went to China. We wanted to leave, and they wanted to host us. So at a point, we were tired. We wanted to dodge. Then by the time I think we left around 3 a.m. Yes, 3 a.m. because they were sending us from one enjoyment to the other. And we always remember the bottoms up. Then Professor Joseph Gatiampia, I also work with you. Thank you very much for all the support you gave me when I was the Dean for International Education. Then I also want to say big thank you to registrars, former registrars. I work with all of them. When you work as the Dean for International Education, you agree with me that you work with everybody. So I want to thank all of them for the support they gave me. Then I'm looking at former Pro-Vice Chancellors, Professor John Nelson Boa, Professor Odro, and Professor Dora Francisca Ndubando. Can I see your hand? I remember the first time we were selected, especially Professor Odro and Professor Ndubando were campaigning. And Professor Odro got the Pro-Vice Chancellorship. Then after her, maybe Professor Guboli had the dream. After him, Professor Ndubando became the Pro-Vice Chancellor. And now I am the Pro-Vice Chancellor. So I want to thank all provosts. I also work closely with all provosts as Pro-Vice Chancellor and former provosts, especially Professor Davis. He calls me Sister Boohene because he is the senior provost. We call him SP. So if the VC is not there and the Pro-Vice Chancellor is not there, he is the next person on the line. And I've worked closely with him. Then I want to thank all administrative directors, especially the Director of Finance. We call her Mrs. Obese because her name is Mrs. Obese. But when we went to Ireland, the white people, because the spelling is O-B-E-S-E, they were calling her Mrs. Obese. And that's what I've been calling her since. Then we also have other directors, all directors, academic, general and consular services. If I don't mention you, please forgive me. But I appreciate all the work we've been doing together. Then I want to mention Professor Sam. He couldn't come, former Pro Vice Chancellor of University of Ghana. He's like a father to me and a mentor. Then Dr. Aboagyewa, he admitted me, he gave me employment as head of department. I want to also say a big thank you to him wherever he is. Then Dr. Henry from Aklu, Dr. Aklu, my father, he also mentored me. When you talk about the father of entrepreneurship at the University of Cape Coast, this is Dr. Henry from Aklu, and he also mentored me. Prof, thank you very much. Then I moved to Mr. Kwekueni. When the VC was introducing him, he said, it is the Pro VC's boyfriend. And my husband has given me to him, and he has even added some money to it. So, Professor Kwekueni, CEO of Seal Environmental Technologies, thank you very much for your friendship. Then we have Professor Ato Duncan, the CEO of also Kwa Manufacturing Company. We've started building collaborations with them to see how we can work with them, the university and industry we are partnering. So, Prof, thank you very much for honoring this occasion. Then I'll mention Professor Bonzi Simpson. I was your vice dean at the business school, and we worked very well. Actually, he was the only one who knew the Aboagyewa. I don't know how the VC got to know the Aboagyewa, but he was the only one who was calling me the Aboagyewa until the VC got to know. And now everybody knows that there is Aboagyewa in my name. Professor Kwaku Boakye. Where is Professor Kwaku Boakye? Vice Chancellor, Cape Coast Technical University. He's left. He's also a brother and a good friend. Then Professor Jegen Bode, the Vice President Internationalization at the Bon Rhein-Sieg University of Applied Science. Unfortunately, he couldn't join us, but he's been like a brother. Since 2012, we started working on the German project. He's like my German brother. And every time we meet, he's coming up with ideas and opportunities. And now, because of that relationship, University of Cape Coast is one of their strategic partners. So, Professor Bode, I'm very grateful. Then I have Professor Mafo, Prof. Boakye Mensah. Then, School of Business. Where are the School of Business? Yes, my colleagues at the School of Business. I can't mention everybody's name, especially CESED. Center for Entrepreneurship and Small Enterprise. Yes, we groom the entrepreneurs. So clap for us. My director, Karen, we've all been working together very, very well, like brothers and sisters, because we want to support these young ones to develop the entrepreneurial mindset. Then my staff at CIE. Where is the staff? Those I work with at CIE. This time we are not taking wachi. Every time they see I have money, they will say, Prof, we want to eat wachi. And we'll go and buy wachi. So CIE, thank you very much. Then Professor Gajipo and his wife, Dr. Elizabeth Kwansan from Auburn University. Then Ashasi University, the West African Hub. Can I see your hands? We've been working with them. We work with them on the systems change program. And they are here with their dean. Thank you very much for coming. Then I look at my UCC mates, the 1993 year group. Where are they? Yes, University of Cape Coast 1993 year group. Then we are looking at all students of Wesley Grammar School. All students of Wesley Grammar School, they are here. Thank you very much for coming. Then we look at my primary and middle school schoolmates. Now I can't even see any of them. Sometimes when I see them, I don't even remember the faces. It shows that I'm growing. But I guess some of them are here. Thank you very much. Then I had some dear friends I lost. So all these projects I do, I always shared ideas. That's what we do. We sit down somewhere and we look at the proposal and we look at the things we do. And when we start working with the MSMEs, they are like our brothers and sisters. And I will talk about the late brother Aboagyewa and Matthew. Every time I'm thinking about projects, I miss them. Then we have Professor D.K. Ajimai. Then Dr. George Esegbe. Dr. George Esegbe is here with his wife. He gave me the opportunity to work with STEPRI as a member of their board. And recently, he has also given me another opportunity to work with UNCTAD on how to establish science and technology parks. Dr. Esegbe, thank you very much. Then my colleagues from the Bon Rhein-Sieg University, I know you are joining me online. Professor Maya, Regina, Komi, everybody, I say thank you. And to my children at the business school, although I don't look too old, I have children at the business school. I have Professor Japon, Dr. Wunu, Daniel Ofori, Dominic Uwusu, Mrs. Rebecca Day. And then I have my pastors, Reverend Esther Dennis, Reverend Victor Aboagyewa and wife, and Reverend Nathan Edujima. I've been working closely with all of them. And my Pensa people. Where are the Pensa people? They are also here. Pensa, I've also been working with them. We are always sharing ideas, and I don't know whether we've started our project on community engagement. So I'm working with them to start a project on community engagement, starting a reading club and starting a football academy. I'm always thinking of something. It's because when you marry a man who every time he wakes up, this idea, sometimes I'm tired. Then I'll say, yes, it's good. Please don't take it to heart. But every time there are always ideas early in the morning. Then I want to thank Professor Bashir Umoru Ibn Said, my very good friend. That's the Vice Chancellor of Tamale Technical University. We've been can you show us your hand? We've been very, very good friends. Then Dr. Anani Feni and wife, Mr. Opoku Siema, Mrs. Baston, Uncle Buedisian. Then we have Professor Kwaku Thompson and wife. Then we have Mr. Sapon and Mr. Dakun from Prudential Bank. Mr. Sapon, yes, they've been very good friends. When I make friends, I make the friends forever. And we become like a family. So Mr. Sapon, Mr. Odame, and Mr. Dakun, thank you very much for coming. Then I move to Professor Eisen. Professor Eisen is not here. Thank you very much. Prof, thank you very much. Professor Kofi Awusabu-Asare, he taught me research methods, and I always remember him. Anytime he's coming for lectures, he has his bag with his tea in the bag. Then he puts it on the table, we'll be pouring and we'll be moving up and down. And he's been my mentor since. So, Prof, thank you very much, Professor Kofi Awusabu-Asare. Then I'll thank my father and my mother. They are still alive. But unfortunately, they couldn't join because of old age. I want to thank them very much. Remember, you were told we were 6 girls, and all the 6 girls will be in Ogo. They trained us to be assertive, to work very hard, to know that if you set a goal for yourself in life, you have to work very hard towards the achievement of that goal. So I want to say a very big thank you to my father and my mother. And my sisters. we call ourselves the Sixes. We call ourselves the Sixes. The 6 sisters. And entrepreneurship didn't start when I came to University of Cape Coast. We started when we were young. And the 6 of us, we have a company we call Sixes Company Limited. So we didn't start the entrepreneurship now. We started when we were very young. Then my Winneba Secondary School, the headmaster is here. The headmaster and his colleague, thank you very much for coming. Wosa. Thank you very much for coming. Then my children. Unfortunately, I have 3 children, but it is only one that is here. Child, thank you very much for coming. Then my nephews and my nieces, they are all smiling. When they start moving up, you see that in Aboagyewa's house, you have a lot of beautiful flowers. So my nephews and nieces, thank you very much for coming. As for my husband, I can't thank him enough. He's my mentor, my coach, my best friend. I don't know if I have to describe all the words I have to use in describing him. I will do that. And he has supported me since I started teaching. He said, the profession you are in, you need to move higher up to. He says he's a practical entrepreneur. So that is him. And I say, I'm a book person. So he says, I'll support you to be able to achieve your goal. So thank you very much, my husband. He's smiling. When we go home, I'm dead. Then I'll pick the organizing team, the Directorate of Public Affairs, Campus Broadcasting. They made sure the program came off. Thank you very much. I'm very, very grateful. So can I see you waving? Then the staff of Sam Jonah Library, when we're doing the exhibition, I have to look for my pictures. I have to look for my articles. They helped me. They gave me ideas. I'm very much grateful for that. And my special friends, students with special needs. Can you wave? So you can see their hands. Thank you for joining me. From here, if you want to help them, I believe that there are a lot of things we can encourage them to be able to do. So if you want to help them, you see me because I've been working with them. Remember, I said we want to build their entrepreneurial skills. The next group we will be targeting are people who are hearing impaired. We also need to support them to be able to make a living and life for themselves. Please, if I've forgotten and I've not said thank you, forgive me. It is the euphoria and the happiness. Sometimes you see the person, but you don't see because you are standing on top here. So thank you, everybody, for coming. If I didn't mention your name, I'm very grateful. Those who are doing the service, everybody, thank you, and God richly bless you.
Another round of applause for our speaker. We are going to witness a very brief ceremony, what we call the robing, and I would invite the College of Professors to help us with that. Let's welcome them with a round of applause as they come up stage.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. We will not say anything until you have responded to my greetings. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Voila. Well, let me say that this is a very symbolic assignment. And you've seen ladies and gentlemen in some distinctive and unique dress. This is the first time we are outdooring this dress. It is called the Professorial dress to distinguish the Obinfo from the right. You've got it. So when you see me wearing this, or any person wearing this, it means the person is within the group of the Obinfo. At least within University of Cape Coast. And we are the only university with this kind of dress. And so we are very much proud and happy to announce that. So this is a symbolic ceremony. We are very grateful to the Vice Chancellor for accepting to champion this idea, which was mooted by what we call the College of Professors. And the College of Professors is the one that will welcome the newly made Obinfo. Is there the woman, ladies, is there a different name? Obinfowa. We are welcoming the Obinfowa. Right. But on a more serious note, it's symbolic because it is to welcome our lady, our sister, because she's already been introduced to the general public. But now she still has a role, and all of us still have roles, in terms of mentorship of the young ones, in terms of research, and in terms of national issues. As a college, we should not sit back when there are national issues, we should be able to make a voice. As a college, we should be able to make a voice when there are institutional issues, and we should be able to help management to grow the university. So that is what we stand for. So symbolically, like those of you who know the Bible, it is those persons who lit the lantern and put under the table. Today she has brought her lantern on the table and she is now seen. Wherever you meet her, talk to her about entrepreneurship and enterprise development. And the Vice Chancellor has asked me to tell her that from today, she should be much more enterprising and much more entrepreneurial and much more seen in every aspect. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, and Mr. Vice Chancellor, it is a duty I have to help you, or no, you have to help me perform. Because my daughter requested that I should return from Burkina to rope her, and I had to comply. So I arrived from Burkina last night just to rope her. So you will be assisting me. Those who don't know Burkina, the capital is Nandom. Thank you very much. Now you can bring the rope. VC will help me. So she's going to remove what she has on her and she'll be roped in the new attire to symbolize that she is now formally welcome into the group. All right. You can help me with the mic. Don't worry.
So members of the college will now take turns to congratulate Professor Rosemond Boohene. I would invite the registrar, Mr. Jephte Emmanuel Onyame. I would invite former Vice Chancellor UCC, Professor Joseph Gatti MP and wife. Professor Nelson Bois. He's a former Pro-Vice Chancellor, UCC. Professor Isaac Gallion, former Provost of the College of Distance Education. Professor S.Y. Mensah, Professor S.Y. Mensah will be followed by the University Librarian, Dr. Mark Anthony Kobler. Dr. Kobler will be followed by the Honorable Member of Parliament for Cape Coast North, Dr. Kwamna Mintanyako. We'll do the husband and children. Husband and children of Professor Rosemond Boohene. Thank you very much. Let's call on the siblings. Siblings. Siblings will be followed by nieces and nephews who are here. Let's welcome the siblings. Nieces and nephews, hold on a bit. Let the siblings finish with a photo. Nieces and nephews, to be followed by in-laws and all other family members present. Nieces and nephews to be followed by in-laws and all other family members present. Do we have in-laws here? With other members of the family, kindly approach. In-laws and other family members taking their turn to congratulate Professor Boohene. So the Pro-Vice Chancellor's office team is next. The Pro-Vice Chancellor's office team is next. Pro Vice Chancellor's Office team, led by Mr. Alfred Garte. School of Business, get ready. School of Business. School of Business. So kindly exit from my right so that the other group can make way up from my left. School of Business would be followed by CESED. 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 To be followed by CIEOIR, Office of International Relations, Center for International Education, yes. OIR, formerly CIE. OIR will be followed by ASCORE. Office of International Relations, making their way up. ASCORE. ASCORE. If ASCORE is not ready, UTAG executives. Okay, ASCORE is here. ASCORE will be followed by UTAG executives. ASCORE. UTAG. UTAG. After UTAG, UIC, led by the head pastor, Reverend Kwesi Emisa Isel. University Interdenominational Church, led by the head pastor, Reverend Kwesi Emisa Isel. UIC. UIC will be followed by Emeritus Professor Gajepo and spouse. UIC will be followed by Emeritus Professor Gajepo and his spouse. Emeritus Professor Gajepo and his spouse are taking their turn to take a photo with Professor Boohene. Dr. Henry from Akblu is next. Dr. Henry from Akblu. Dr. Aklu will be followed by Mr. Kweku Inning, CEO, Zeal Technology. Dr. Aklu will be followed by the CEO of Zeal Technology, Takoradi, Mr. Kweku Inning. Could invite the Vice Chancellor for Tamale Technical University, Professor Bashiru Imoru Said. Vice Chancellor of Tamale Technical University, Professor Bashiru Imoru Said. He will be followed by Dr. George Esigbe, Director, Science and Technology Policy Research Institute, CSIR, with his spouse. Dr. George Esigbe and his spouse. They will be followed by Professor Samuel Atodankan, President General, Koa Research and Manufacturing Company Limited. Do we have staff of Koa here? Kindly join Prof. If we have staff of Koa, kindly join Prof. UCC 93-year group, please be on standby. Coming up now, we have Professor Samuel Atodankan, President General, Koa Research and Manufacturing Company Limited, with his staff members. UCC 93-year group, please approach. UCC 93. UCC 93. Okay. Professor Alfred. Wesley Grammar All Students Association. Wesley Grammar All Students Association, to be followed by Winisec All Students, led by the headmaster and president of the association, Mr. Emmanuel Odum. Wesley Grammar. Now Wesley Grammar, to be followed by Winneba Secondary All Students Association. Winisec, please approach. Winisec All Students Association, to be followed by Ashesi University and Education Collaborative, led by the Dean of Students, Dr. Abdul Mahdi. Ashesi University. Ashesi University. Ashesi University. Ashesi will be followed by Adishi Hall JCRC. Adishi Hall JCRC, kindly approach the stage. Upstage now we have Ashesi University and Education Collaborative. Adishi Hall JCRC. Thank you, Ashesi. Adishi, kindly approach. Now, secretaries to committees chaired by the Pro VC. If you're here, kindly approach the stage. Secretaries to committees chaired by the Pro VC. Kindly approach if you are here. Then Prof. Boohene's proteges, if you're here. Prof. Boohene's proteges, if you're here. Up now, secretaries to the committees that Professor Boohene chairs. Proteges of Prof. Boohene, are you here? So the Association of Students with Special Needs. I understand there's going to be a representative for the Association of Students with Special Needs. The National Chamber of Commerce, Central Regional Chamber of Commerce, and Western Regional Chamber of Commerce. If we have reps here, please get ready. You take your turn after the Association of Students with Special Needs. Association of Students with Special Needs. So we have representatives of the association. National Chamber of Commerce, Central and Western Regions. Thank you. Chamber of Commerce making their way. Staff of the Association of African Universities, led by Professor Adewale Olusegun. Professor Adewale Olusegun. Staff of the Association of African Universities. UCC alumni. Reps of UCC alumni. Representatives of UCC Alumni Association. Thank you, Chamber of Commerce. Association of African Universities. Rep of UCC Alumni. Thank you very much. So, Prof, you would exit, but on your way you shake hands with Osabe Makwisata, the Ogwaman Hin, the Mara Hin Nanakwekwenu, and then we have the Queen of Efutu. She's also the Kronte Hima of Ogwa, Nanamba Eyaba. She's currently shaking hands with the Mara Hin of Ogwa, Nanakwekwenu. And she'll finally do it with Emeritus Professor Eisen. She'll shake hands with Emeritus Professor Eisen. So the final applause as she takes her seat. So I believe that the Pro-Vice Chancellor who gave the lecture has extensively shown appreciation to all of us here, and the very few that she could mention their names. I am going to acknowledge a few. Those she has done already, I will not hit on them again. So I am, by duty, expected to acknowledge my Vice Chancellor. So let's do it again for Professor Johnson Yakub Wampong, who chaired this occasion, Vice Chancellor of UCC. We also have Mr. Jefte Emmanuel Onyame, the Registrar of UCC. We also duly acknowledge Osabe Makwisata II, Ogwaman Hin. We also acknowledge Nanamba Eyaba, the first Queen Mother of Efutu Kronte Hima of Ogwa. Nana Kweku Enu III is the Mara Hin of the Ogwa traditional area. Nana, we say thank you. I'll move to the College of Professors. Professor Kofi Awusabu Asare. We acknowledge Professor P.K. Buabasua, Professor David Taidoku, Professor Dennis Aheto, Professor Sarah Dakwa, Professor J.V. Mensah, Professor Augustine Tanley, Professor Daniel Ejapon, Professor Eugene Date, Professor John Gachi, Professor Yao Ankuma. We also have Reverend Professor Kankambwedu and Professor Ishmael Mensah. We also have Professor Kwame Osei-Kwarteng, Professor Ernest Kofi Davis. We duly acknowledge all of you for being here. At this point, I would ask that you help me welcome our chair to give his closing remarks.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end. And I'm expected to summarize what the Professor of Entrepreneurship and Enterprise Development has said so far. But I will do that by telling you what I have learned so that you can also add yours to it. Okay, so Professor Boohene did his presentation on the topic entrepreneurship and enterprise development in practice, tracking the pathways. She gave definition of the entrepreneurship and gave theoretical basis for enterprise development. And here she gave statistics about registered businesses in USA, Ghana, and South Africa, and also talk about entrepreneurial process model by Hisrich and Peters. He also talked about key elements of entrepreneurial activity and the global entrepreneurship monitors. Factors affecting entrepreneurship and enterprise development. Among them, we have policy, finance, culture, market, human capital, and support. Then she also presented on tracking the pathways, where she linked theory, research, and practice, and also showed her contributions. She has done many projects, but I've learned that we have small enterprises and we have family businesses. Then she also did projects under some of these projects on certain topics under the small enterprise development. He mentioned that economies or most countries are supported by small enterprises, and therefore their growth also support the growth of the country. He also talked about the challenges that they face, access to credit. And even though they are able to get credit, because of the interest on the loans that they give to them, they are not able to grow. There are some of the projects that she led his collaborators to do in Ghana, and some of them are on e-waste. And on e-waste, they wrote a book. And the book is interesting. The title is interesting. Money Day for Bola. And I hope we will have some in our library so that people can learn how to generate money even from the bola. Then she also presented on entrepreneurship education and service and support service. And here he has led students to innovate and create businesses. and have also trained students to have entrepreneurial mindsets, using television and other models to train the students. There are 3 things that I learned from her. Education about entrepreneurship, that is creating awareness of entrepreneurship. Education for entrepreneurship, to train people to have entrepreneurship mindset and skills, and education through entrepreneurship, where you innovate methods of teaching entrepreneurship. Then she also highlighted the importance of entrepreneurship, that without entrepreneurship, for people to help students have that mindset to be able to create their own businesses, it leads to political instability. Political instability in the sense that most people will complete their programs in the universities and other institutions, and they cannot get job to do. At the end of the day, they would fight the system, and that creates political instability. So we need to work hard to create more businesses for the young ones to get job to do. In doing this, she also talked about social entrepreneurship. Through her research, she was able to help even the handicapped to do certain projects and write books, and that is also online. Then he also talked about entrepreneurial universities. And here, these are some of the topics. We have leadership and governance, where they train leaders of most higher institutions in Africa. And then last implications and lessons learned. That to be able to champion entrepreneurship, there should be access to finance, but we have limited access. Then inadequate infrastructure also affects entrepreneurship, skills gap, even registration challenges, human resource, sustainability, among others. She made recommendations, and that there should be creation of specialized agencies to provide genuine financial support. And then there should be policy reforms. And then she proposed 2 stage models. That stage 1 is entrepreneurship for second cycle institutions. Here she suggested that all second cycle, products from second cycle should be sent for military training, where you inculcate in them patriotism, volunteerism, AI training, and entrepreneurship training. Then stage 2 is about entrepreneurship training for tertiary institutions, those who have completed tertiary institutions, or those who are in tertiary institutions, the elite groups, we provide them, we bring them together, they do contributions, and the contributions we invest, and that can eventually help them to get capital to build their own businesses. If for nothing at all, I've learned that everything is possible. So now, it is possible to create your own business. Even those who are in academia, you can have your business. And these small businesses help the country to grow. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Chair. Prof. Boohene, I would kindly ask that you revisit the stage for a brief minute as I call on Confucius Institute. Confucius Institute. Let's welcome them with a round of applause. They are here to extend congratulations to Professor Boohene. They are led by Professor Uyame. She is the Chinese director for the institute, the China director for the institute. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Professor Uyome and Professor Boohene. We're going to do the final one for our sign language interpreter, Dr. Obosu. He's done an awesome work. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you very much. Kindly note that the College of Professors and all invited guests will be hosted at the Vice Chancellor's Lodge. The College of Professors and all invited guests will be hosted at the Vice Chancellor's Lodge, whilst the rest of us will stay here and will be giving our refreshments here. Let's welcome Reverend Professor Kankam Boydu, who is here to give us a closing prayer. Let's welcome him with a round of applause.
Humbly, let us be on our feet. And so, Father, once again, we're grateful unto you. We thank you for how far you have brought us. Indeed, we started with your name. Of a truth that we have come to the realization that whenever we start with you, it will end well with us. Lord God Almighty, we thank you for this wonderful opportunity, listening to your daughter. Your word has been fulfilled. Our eyes have seen this inaugural lecture. We pray, oh Lord, that this inaugural lecture will be impactful on our life. Now, as we are living, we are asking for your direction. We are asking for your presence to go with us. Now, the Lord bless us and keep us. The Lord make his face shine upon us and be gracious unto us. The Lord lift up his countenance upon us and give us peace this day and forever. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, we have prayed. Amen. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We shall remain standing as the Vice Chancellor recesses. Kindly take note. We will take photos out of this auditorium. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You can take your